Hi, my name's Ethan Lawrence.
This is Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage.
Hi, I'm Scotty Wartu.
Hi, my name's Sean Smith.
Hi, my name is Desha Kiva.
This is Ryan McCombs from the band Soil.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Waiting Cage and Last LaRue.
Hi, I'm Dave Hill. I'm a comedian, musician, author, person, and you're listening to the Chronicles of Podcast. It's pretty much the greatest podcast of all time, as far as I'm concerned.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 132nd edition of the Chronicles of Podcast. And these right here are the Chronicles of Dave Hill. It's I, Jamie, and joining me, as always this week, it's this handsome fella right here.
It's Tom. I love how you always get really confused, but can't believe that we've hit this certain edition. Every time. 132nd? Holy shit!
Drama. Pizzazz.
Is that what it... Drama? Yeah. There's no fucking drama here, boys and girls. Tell me that right now. Theys and thems as well. Everyone's welcome. I suppose we better hit it!
Ladies and gentlemen, this week we are bringing you a very special guest. This week's guest is a man who can spin so many plates, he may as well just add circus performer to his repertoire. He's a comedian, musician, actor, author, podcaster, and just an all-round wonderful human. He's a man who's made out with loads of girls. He plays a sweet air guitar, and he smells great. We can tell you that just through Zoom. Ladies and gents, put your hands together as welcome you to the Chronicles of Dave Hill.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
I should be, not to correct you, but I'm very anti-air guitar. I'm pro real guitar, as you can see.
That is a beautiful stack you got there, just like Justin Shot. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
How's your personal Wednesday been, Dave?
It's been pretty good. I went to the dog park with my dog.
Nice.
And I say with my dog because it's just to be clear, you're not allowed to go without a dog. So I went and just got a dog. Now I have a dog, so I can,
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that, and then this is weirdly my third Zoom today, which is so it's very action packed in terms of Zooms, but not much else. Other than that, I've just had snacks.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, could you have not gone to the dog park with an invisible dog lead? Are they still a thing?
Oh, like where, like he used to be able to get at like the amusement parks, and you walk around. I haven't seen those since I was a kid. Yeah, and I was really confused by them at the time. I didn't understand it. But no, I'm very, I'm a real dog. She'll probably check in on us momentarily. Yeah.
So I was just saying in my introduction there, you spin like 700 fucking plates. It's a ridiculous amount of things you get up to. But we like to take these things right back to the start. What did you want to be when you were growing up in your formative years?
I think an artist, visual artist, and a musician. So, it's kind of worked out because I still do those things. But then I just kind of added a few things on top of that. But yeah, probably main thing I just wanted to rip guitar solos. Was my main goal when I was a kid. From about the age of 7 or something, I was like, I'm gonna rip some guitar solos.
It's not I'm gonna play guitar. I'm just gonna rip solos. That's it.
Rip some solos. Yeah. I just went straight. Never. Right straight past rhythm into ripping solos. I was ripping solos there probably several times today. There's probably 3 separate parts of today when I was just sitting here ripping solos. It's kind of it's kind of my main things I get up to throughout the day. Just rip some solos.
I love it. But no matter what we talk about during your career, it can be boiled down to performance art, like you're just saying there. Where did that love of performance come from, though? Especially at such a young age.
I don't know. Probably being, I don't know if maybe being one of 5 children. I was just starved for attention or something. Maybe that was part of it. But I think I don't know. I just kind of always been into, into just doing stuff, perform. But I don't know. Yeah, I just kind of, I don't know. All the stuff that I do now for a living is stuff like if I had a job as working at Poundland or something, then I think I would come home and do, I would do everything that I do, rip solos, write, do some artwork, tell some jokes. I just kind of took all the things that I like doing and just turned it into my job.
Living the dream.
For better or for worse.
Definitely for better.
I hope so. Though sometimes I think it would be cool to do the other scenario where I get off work at, no, it doesn't have to be Poundland. It could be Tesco Express. I'm just trying to drop, British references.
I was going to say.
Boots. Where else? Superdrug. Primark. Anyway, get off work at one of those places, and then I could go, just come home and rip some solos, or I'd go to the pub first and then come home and rip some solos. Yeah.
I love that. Like, our retail world has left this imprint on you just after being here. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know why it's the only thing I can think of when I think of the UK, but because I know it's, very rich tapestry that goes far beyond retail chains. But right now in my jet lag state, all I can think of are retail, just things I've passed along the way. Nando's. Jeez, I'm running out. But yeah.
I mean, you have way better food places over there than we do over here, so you're not missing out on much.
I don't know. I think food's really good. I know it's kind of like a lazy joke about the UK that the food is bad, but I actually find the food to be excellent.
Oh, okay.
You guys have all the foods. I mean, you have better Indian food, generally speaking, even though we have amazing Indian food here. But I feel like you guys have better, just generally, if I had to rate it on percentage, batting average, to use an American reference. And then what else? You guys, yeah, it's a lot. I actually really like pizza in the UK, which is, I know, like, what am I? I'm crazy, but
yeah,
I think you guys actually have had some excellent pizzas in the UK.
I mean, can you tell me where they are? Because I'd like to go and find them.
I mean, mostly in London, I think. What city are you guys in?
Jamie's in Birmingham, and I'm in a little town called Cheltenham by Bristol.
Oh, I love when there's multiple words in the names of towns. We don't have that as much in the States. You guys do, like, something on something, whatever, something Shire on Thames.
Yeah.
You have, I love it. Newcastle on Tyne.
Yeah.
Which is so confusing because I'd never know whether there's a Newcastle and a Newcastle on Tyne, or is it the same place? It's the latter.
There's a Newcastle under Lyme as well.
Yeah, it's so confusing.
Which is...
it wouldn't be that hard to just come up with separate names for.
We just like to fuck with people, Dave. That's what we like to do.
Yeah, I really like Birmingham. I actually had maybe the best Indian food of my life in Birmingham.
Yeah.
At a place called Asha, or Asha's or something. Do you know it?
I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty famous place. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like a fancy Indian food place, but I stuffed my face there.
Excellent.
Like a goddamn animal. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll step it up. I gotta step it up. If you have to, you could just take everything I'm saying and just speed it up in post, or add some action music.
No, we just appreciate you doing this, man. Like you said, you're jet lagged to fuck, and the fact you're here means the world. So it's all good, my friend. It's all
Well, I
good.
feel like I'll probably snap back out of the jet lag because you guys being, over there, I'll trick the brain into me thinking I'm still there. Maybe.
You never know.
Or maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know.
Our accents will just bring it out of you. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always get intrigued by this. What did your parents say when you told them you wanted to do this for a living, to like go out and perform? Were they supportive or?
Not really. I mean, I don't think I told them really. I think I just did it. And I think, they both came from more traditional. Neither one of them was in show business, so I think it was just a foreign idea where I think they really thought that I should get like a proper job where I go to work somewhere, sort of in the pre-pandemic way where you would leave your house around 8:30 and show up to work somewhere for 8 hours and then come home. But I rejected that idea very young, that I would ever do that. And I'm just not. I'm sort of feral in that my girlfriend has a corporate job, and she tells me like what goes on at the office, and I would be sent home before lunch on my first day. Just they would be like, get out. I just can't. Even anything. I've written on TV shows, and I even struggle in that environment, just leaving the house where you have to go and there's a coffee machine and stuff. I'm really not. I can't be tamed.
I can't rip solos in this office. What the fuck?
Yeah, I gotta rip solos. I hang out with my dog a lot. I'm just kind of meant to be on my own, I think. That's how I live.
But where did it start
Knock on
originally with performing? Was it acting, comedy, music, or just all at the same time?
I think music first. I never really planned to go into comedy, to be a comedian, And there's certainly some people that see me now and say, well, you still haven't, Dave. You're not doing comedy. But yeah, I never, and I was never in school plays or anything like that. I think I was always just kind of like more, on the fringes of society. You always planned on playing in a band, and then I kind of I kind of accidentally went into comedy, and then from that, I've done a bit of acting and would like to do more acting. I kind of regret not kind of actively pursuing it. And now I feel like I think at this rate, maybe I'll be like a character actor once my looks fade in about 40 years. Once when probably like 40 years time, I'll think these amazing features will start to droop and things, and that's when I'll really start booking way more work than I'm getting now.
That's the problem. You're just too good looking to book.
Yeah, it's problematic because it just doesn't seem believable, for me to be in most roles. You kind of have to have the whole cast be ridiculously good looking to make it work.
So we went to the 50 Shades of Grey audition. There was like, sorry, Dave, but we all had to put towels down. It's too much.
Yeah. Yeah, not a dry seat in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So, no.
But to put yourself out there and like get on stage, whether it be music and comedy, you've got to have like an outgoing personality. Have you always been like that, or is that something you just sort of had to develop and teach yourself in order to do that?
Yeah, I think a bit of both. Part of me is super introverted. There's a big part of me that really dreads performing in any way. This last tour I just did with Tenacious D, which was amazingly one of the funnest times of my life. And then, I did a run of solo shows in London right after that. They were all so fun every night, all those shows, but still, like, in the back of my mind is utter dread the whole day. You know, kind of the 2 hours before going on stage, I'm just like, oh no, I got to go out there in front of people. But as soon as I get out there, I always have a good time. You know, I could count on one hand, like, the amount of shows I didn't have fun at, you know. Even like a bad show, like I've done shows, you wouldn't believe this. If you've seen my act, you would never believe this, that I have ever bombed. But I have. Even me. Even I have bombed. But you know, especially, like, I think I did a show in Nairobi in Kenya a couple of years ago. Where I bombed. What was it? Yeah, this is like 2 years ago at this point. And I was there researching my most recent book, The Awesome Game, available everywhere. And I was like, oh, I should do some comedy while I'm here. So I found a show and I asked them if I could do it. And oh my gosh, I bombed so badly. It was like a work of art how badly I bombed. But even that, I still really enjoyed it. Like, I was, you know, didn't want to bomb, but I was still excitedly texting my girlfriend afterwards, like, oh my gosh, you missed an amazing spectacle of a horribleness just now. She gets a big kick out of that. She likes a great show, but she also enjoys a very bad show. So that was a good one.
Was it like the cultural differences over there, though? That he's basically just sat there and stared at you?
I think that was ultimately it. That maybe, you know, I don't want to say like, oh, they're, you know, what they're seeing is not. I just think like what I was doing was not what they were used to seeing. They were certainly a very great audience and everything, but I think I was just, I think they were just very confused by what I was doing.
But you'll probably get talked about forever now.
Yeah, I'm a legend down there. But
Yeah.
I can't wait to go back. But yeah, it was such an epic bombing. Like, normally, you know, when I perform, if there's other comedians on the show, I'll want to hang and chat with them afterwards. But after that one, I was like, I'm just gonna get out. I'm just gonna get out of here as quickly as I can.
So, where did the idea to mix comedy and music come together? Was it just a natural fit because of who you are, or was that a purpose decision?
I kind of resisted it initially because, you know, I played in bands and still do for many years, and so I kind of just had a reverence for rock and playing, you know, and there weren't. I didn't really know how to mix the two. You know, there was most of the stuff I was seeing where people were mixing comedy and music I didn't really like. And, you know, there was a handful of things you know, like Tenacious D is amazing at it, Flight of the Conchords, and, you know, a few others. But most of what I was seeing, like, around New York when I started performing, like, I was like, well, I don't want to do that. And I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then I started doing shows, like my friend Greg Barris had a show, Heart of Darkness. Wesley Stace, my buddy, has a show called Cabinet of Wonders. Tom Papa has Come to Papa. And those three shows all had like house bands. And so I would just like bring my guitar along to do comedy and kind of use the band as part of the thing. And kind of came from there. And then, you know, I started doing other things, other shows like that. And it's just more fun, and it creates more opportunities for comedy because there's the spontaneity of interacting with the band and abusing them and things like that. Usually not deservedly so, but it's sometimes very much deservedly so. And it's just, and also like on a selfish level, it's just more fun for me to tell jokes and then also play guitar because I really like doing both of those things. So it's fun to leave the house and just kind of do both the things that I like doing instead of leaving the house separately. Really a time-saving technique more than anything. Also, I shouldn't even be telling you this, but a 20-minute set is a 40-minute set if you just play a lot of guitar solos in between. You don't need as many. Don't need as many jokes.
Absolute genius.
That is
Where does the inspiration for your material come from though for the comedy? Like how'd you come up with it?
I think usually it's just stuff that occurs to me as I'm walking around, and I don't know. It's just like whatever I think is funny is really all I'm interested in doing and talking about. I'm not really, probably to a fault, I don't really care about the audience at all. Like in terms of, I don't think about, what's popular, what topics are people. I'm not necessarily looking to relate. I think, a lot of comedy and a lot of very successful comedy involves speaking about things that we can all relate to, but I'm not really that into that. I'm kind of, and even the comedy that I'm drawn to the most doesn't do that either. Like all the stuff I, loved growing up, and even, most of the comedians I love now are just speaking about their very, things that are unique to them or their own unique perspectives. Not, there's obviously some amazing comedians that can talk about things that we all that connect us as humans, and addressing the human condition and stuff like that. But I'm more interested as a fan, and both in terms of what I'm doing, into the comedians that excite me the most are the comedians around where I'm just like, I've never seen that, I've never thought that, can't relate to that at all. Like that's the most exciting to me. I'm not really that interested in, but though there's at the same time there's many people that are amazing at coming out and talking about stuff that the audience and even myself will relate to. So, but just what I'm drawn to in terms of what I want to do is just kind of thinking about just whatever. I don't know. I don't know. The simple thing is just whatever makes me giggle, and whatever I think I would have wanted to see as, anything I do, whether it's music or comedy or whatever, it's just kind of just whatever I want to see exist in the world or whatever. And then you just think, if I've done that, then hopefully there's someone else who this will resonate with as well, unless I'm completely out of my mind. But, I've been doing it long enough that I guess there's enough people that it's resonating with, that I'm able to, knock on wood again, that it's resonating with. And now that being said, I wish I could think of something that would resonate with millions, and then then I would have a cleaner office. I would have like some,
if you're talking about things that you don't truly find funny yourself or believe in, I guess it's kind of hard to portray that across. Do you know what I mean? So I think the things that you find funny works because you find, I don't know whether you obviously deliver it in a way, I guess. You know what I'm trying to say? And my brain's like going about 50,000 miles an hour. If you didn't find it funny, I think people would be like, the hell's this going about? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's not, I'm not saying that like other comedians are talking about things that they don't find funny for the sake of, I don't know, I just kind of, it's just whatever I'm into. But I guess that's pretty much what everyone's doing ultimately, hopefully. But yeah, like I don't know, like comedians that come out and like, hey, how's everybody doing? Like I've never, I'm kind of like, oh, fuck that,
Yeah.
Like I was so anxious performing comedy when I started, and there's a thing with performing where you're, this sort of conventional wisdom would be to like, oh, I'm going to get to breathe and relax and calm down before I go on stage. And from the start, I was like, fuck that. If I'm uncomfortable, I'm gonna go out there and make everyone uncomfortable. You know, we're not here to have a good time necessarily.
Think of the way you're saying it is like comedy to a lot of people. It's an escape. They don't want to talk about the stuff that's happening in the world. They want to hear like brand new chat up lines and things like that. It's an escape, like I say.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I feel that way more than ever, you know, especially with, you know, the last 8 or 9 years and on this planet. The last thing I want to talk about is what happened today, you know, in terms of what happened to all of us, you know, because it's fucking hell, you know. So I'd rather talk about some very hyper specific weird thing that happened, you know.
So we briefly touched on earlier, talking about how acting and things like that. You've acted in various TV shows and films, but how did you transition into acting? Was this you scratching another itch or just something that sort of happened?
You know, I think one thing led to another. I can't stress enough, though, I haven't done nearly as much acting as I would like, so I just want to put out into the universe, or any casting people or whatever, anyone making anything. I really want to do more, but I think it was just like performing. You know, people started asking me to do stuff, and, you know, then I started auditioning for things and getting, you know, roles here and there. And that's how kind of how it continues. And I'm not really established in any way enough that, you know, it's like people are like, oh, if we want to put asses in the seats, let's give Dave Hill a few lines. That'll sell tickets. Hollywood has not really reached that point. But you know, but yeah, I'm doing a few things coming up, and hopefully it'll continue to grow. And but I really like it, you know, and I wish it's something that I would have, you know, maybe pursued earlier in life. You know, I just was kind of like, I think I was just like afraid, maybe, you know, as a kid when there'd be plays, I would be like, or maybe I was like, I don't know, seemed nerdy or something. I don't know what I'm thinking, but I'm just kind of figuring out why. I don't know why, but I do like it, you know, and hopefully I'll do more stuff. It's something I feel like I'm just learning. I mean, everything I do, I think I'm just learning. I always feel like, oh, maybe kind of vaguely figuring it out, how to do this, you know, whether it be comedy or how to play the guitar or whatever. I'm always kind of like, kind of a vague sense of it. You know, with acting, like, even I'm just like, if I memorize my lines, that's huge progress. Yeah.
But you've also written and starred in, like, something that stood out to me was The King of Miami.
Yeah.
So, for those unaware, what was this show? Because it sounds bonkers and brilliant.
That was a show. I mean, that was like, maybe jinxed myself with that one, because that was a show. I shot that, like, I had been doing comedy like a year and a half or something when I was shooting that TV show. And so it was very early on in my comedy career. And it was a show, basically me going to Miami, and it was like kind of a fake luxury show of me, like kind of like showing people the best of everything in Miami. And the idea that it would go like King of London next or whatever. And but yeah, I sold that show with my friend Elise Roth, a producer, early in my comedy career, and I was like, wow, like, it's so easy to get your own TV show in comedy. This is such an easy business. It's a very you know, one look at my IMDb page will tell you it's the last show I've had with that was my show, you know. But when I sold it, I was like, oh, this is so easy. I guess I'll just have my own TV show all the time, because they're just giving them away. But you know, it's a hard showbiz lesson. I've been clawing my way back ever since.
So
But it's all work. I have all these guitars, so that's cool.
that's all right. But,
Yeah.
but with a career like yours, we sort of have to jump all over the place because, as I said before, you spin so many bloody plates. But music has definitely had an underlying part in everything you've done.
Yeah.
Looking at your musical career, you've been involved in several bands over the years. Son of Elvis, but there's a few things that I need to know more about before we move anywhere. One of those being Diamond Snake. You're in a metal band with Moby.
Yeah, briefly.
What?
He's a friend of mine, and he and my buddy Phil. I mean, Moby used to live in New York, and he's super nice, accessible. He's not like a guy that's just like hanging out with fancy celebrities and fancy pride. He would just be out, coming to shows. So he and my buddy Phil, I think Moby had finished a new album at the time. It was Hotel, and I think he just wanted to make like a fun rock metal glam record, and he and my buddy Phil were working on that, and then they ended up asking me for recommendations on other people to be in the band, and I recommended some people, and then they were like, "Oh, why don't you just be in the band?" So I just did it, and then it was fun. We we played a handful of shows and recorded a couple albums worth of stuff that, for whatever reason, was never released. But Moby is a rocker. I mean, like, he comes from rock and hardcore and punk and all that. And like, if you were to play in a band with him, you would think that was like his first, like his main thing was just like rocking out fully on the guitar, because he's a beast. And yeah, so it was really fun. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll see the light of day one day. But yeah, Moby he's a shredder.
When I was doing my research, I was like, Moby, as in the Moby. Like, what? I just did not expect that at all.
No, he's a good buddy. Yeah, he's a good, but we'll still text each other humorous memes on occasion.
I think what was the video I saw? Storming the Castle, is that right?
Yeah, we made a video.
That was absolutely brilliant as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I don't know if he wrote that, but yeah, it was super fun. With some great songs, and then, it just kind of, he ended up moving to LA, kind of like right in the middle of it, and then Nash Cato from Urge Overkill played we did a few shows with him on guitar instead, and then it just kind of imploded after that.
Oh.
As all the great bands do eventually.
Yeah. Awful
we flew
time.
Too close to the sun.
You did. Like that Icarus.
Yeah,
you were literally Icarus. Yeah.
Exactly.
And with your songwriting, though, do you incorporate comedy into pretty much any and all of it, or do you like to have some sort of personal songs as well?
I think like at my main band, I still have a couple bands, Valley Lodge and Painted Doll. Valley Lodge is, been together a long time now, almost 20 years. And what we're probably best known for, one of our songs is the theme to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Just to put some context, I don't know, I'm guessing you guys have that show over there in some form.
It's like my favorite TV show like ever. So yeah,
it's an amazing show. So yeah, I think all the songs, they're not like it's not comedy rock. It's just rock music, but there's going to be humor in it, because I think there's humor in everything. It's not like like kind of like deeply confessional music.
Yeah.
Really. It's kind of fun, driving your car music, do the laundry music.
I was listening to Valley Lodge, and they're great. Like, Go is a great song. It's just
Oh,
a
thank
great,
you.
fun rock song. But I was listening to other songs as well. And like I say, it's just great, fun, relaxing rock music. It's great. But you can
Oh,
tell you
thanks.
have fun and get your comedy chops out in the music videos. Because Go with the
Yeah,
bike
yeah.
race is just fucking brilliant.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, yeah. We try, slip a little bit in there whenever we can, you know.
But with that thing, like you mentioned them last week tonight, how did that come about? Did they just say, "Hey, we want to use your song"? Like,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I I knew John, from comedy, because he was here in New York, and we met sometime, a few years before that, and then Liz Stanton, the showrunner of Last Week Tonight, I've known for years. She's a dear friend, and I never really asked them how it came about. She just called one day, but I'm guessing it was just like they were probably like, "Oh, we need a theme song. Who do we know?" And so yeah, they called and they're like, "Oh, we want to use one of your songs," and I was like, "Oh, you should use the song Go. I think that's a good one." And then they're like, "Yeah, that's the one we want to use." So it's funny, that song. It was the first song on our third record that had come out like a few months before they, started working on that show. And there was another show, another TV show, where a couple comedians had been using another one of our songs for a podcast, and sort of based on their podcast, they ended up getting this TV show. And when they did that, I was like, "Oh, I should ask them to use one of our songs as the theme song." And I sent them Go, and they said, "No, we want to use some other song." So, and I was disappointed at the time, but whew, what a they always, that saying, everything happens for a reason. Oh my gosh, that was a really good thing that they didn't use the song, because then it went on to be the theme song to a show that's now been around 10 years. So, and knock on wood, another
Yeah.
30 years, hopefully, or at least until I'm dead. Should probably be 30 years, 30, 40 years.
so okay.
Your brand new record, Shadows in Paradise, came out back in April. Has it been well received? Like, are you proud? You did the artwork as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Another plate being spun there.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my first thing in life or whatever, is drawing. So I'm psyched to do, I do done the last couple of Valley Lodge albums, and I painted down my other band with Chris Reifert from Autopsy and Death. Did those album covers, and just did another album cover. And I do like a lot of t-shirts and painting and drawing, but yeah, so anyway, but yeah, that record, I'm into it. I mean, same thing as I was saying earlier, I just kind of write songs that I want to hear, or write them to just get them out of my head so they stop antagonizing me.
Almost inconvenience at times.
Yeah, I mean, like, Go is actually, I had just gotten back from Valley Lodge to tour Japan, and I came back and I had like really bad jet lag, and I kept like waking up, at all random times, and so I woke up like 4 a.m. right after we got back from Japan, and I just had this that song in my head, and I couldn't, it was driving me nuts. And fortunately, like I had downloaded this like 4-track app, and I just made a 4-track of the demo of the song, like with my mouth, like going, which is still the beat from that song. And I, did like, I did everything you hear on this song. I just kind of hummed it into the phone, and just to like get it out of my head so I could go back to sleep. And now, hundreds of millions of dollars later, here we are. No, not quite that much.
But Speaking of $100 million ideas,
Mhm.
now I agree it's the weirdest and most wonderful music in the world. We need to talk about Witch Taint.
Oh yeah. Witch Taint. That's another thing started around the same time, about 20 years ago. I was just like really into Norwegian black metal, and not to keep like going back to the same point, but I just for my own entertainment, which is my only goal really, is to entertain myself. I was just I was reading that book Lords of Chaos, which a few years ago was turned into a movie, which I would recommend, both the book and the movie. Late at night, I would just go on the internet and I found this website that had all these email addresses for Norwegian black metal bands. And I started writing them being like, hey, there was this band called Mysticum in Oslo. And I did this to a million bands, but I wrote, it's like, hey, Mysticum, is there another band called Mysticum? Because, my friend Todd told me you guys were really heavy and extreme, but I checked out your album and it was this real pussy metal instead. And I kind of did the same thing to over and over. And then most people would write back and tell me to fuck off, but this ended up being the band's label, and they were like, how dare you? And then I just started responding like every day, and I was just like, oh, my band Witch Taint, which is a name I just made up on the spot. Our band is like the greatest, most satanic band of all time, and it just kind of went on for 6 months, emailing back and forth with this guy, and then I was kind of showing it to two different friends, John Kimbrough in New York and my friend David Jaffrey in LA, and because they were my only two friends that were into black metal at the time, and it was just really for the three of us. And then people kind of started sending it around. Eventually, it ran its course, and David's friend Jeff wanted to make a website with all this stuff. And I think because if you read the emails, if you know the emails, I don't know if you know this part, but if anyone listening can go to the blackmetaldialogues.com and read all these emails that I'm talking about. And the emails is really, the guy is really patient dealing with me being an idiot, it wasn't meant to make him look stupid. It was just me being stupid for my own entertainment. And so the emails came out and they became like really popular for a while. And then years later, my friend Trish Nelson was like, you should read these on stage. And people have been suggesting that. And my buddy Phil and I, who was also in Diamond Snake, we started reading them on stage, and then that became popular. We did it at South by Southwest. We did it in London. We did it in Oslo at Crap Comedy Festival, and then we did it. We did it at Vakken, and by then we had added a couple songs. And at Vakken, like, people were so confused, like, why are these guys reading emails on stage for an hour? But we would play little bits of music, and whenever we would play the music, they would go crazy. So we're like, let's just be a band and make an album, and we did, and made a couple music videos, and then that kind of imploded again, as all the great bands do. But Witch Taint lives on. I'm doing some things with it still, so it'll continue to go in other forms. But yeah, the original emails, I think, is maybe the greatest thing I've ever done.
Moved
Out
on
of a
to,
long list of great things, of course.
You've moved on to Sweden now.
Yeah.
It's just funny because I went onto YouTube. I was like, Witch Taint. I was like, Dave's done black metal. Okay. I was like, I just saw the thumbnail for the video. I think it was Sons of Satan, and you sat in the tree. And I was like, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? I was like, I was pissing myself. It is so funny. It was not what I expected at all.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I mean, the album itself, I'm very proud of. I think we made a cool album. And it's not really, it has elements of black metal, but it's kind of like just a party rock album, you know, if you had to categorize it.
And you got to rip some sweet solos, I imagine.
There's a lot of sweet solos, but we also got, got some guest solos. Micus from Venom.
Oh.
And one of the guys from Carpathian Forest rips a solo or two on there. So we got some ringers. Chris Ryford from Autopsy sings on one of the songs. We got some real metal gods to join us.
That is the one thing I love about metal bands and metal community. They can really fucking laugh at themselves sometimes, and it's great.
Sometimes, not always.
Not always.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you've got to put the sometimes in there because some people take it very seriously as well.
Yeah.
But I suppose we've talked about you shredding solos like so many times now. I didn't ask earlier. Who were your like inspirations when it comes to guitar?
I mean, all kinds. Jimmy Page, Johnny Marr, Dr. No from Bad Brains, Eddie Van Halen, Jay Mascis, Randy Rhoads, Warren DeMartini, George Lynch, Bob Stinson from The Replacements, kind of so many different people.
There's a lot of different genres covered there as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. The Roaches, I love. They play really interesting guitar on their records. I don't know, and then I don't know. There's, guitar is like kind of an endless thing. I saw Uli John Roth a couple weeks ago. One of the, from Scorpions. I can't play like anything he plays, but he's amazing.
I don't get it on cam.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's 7 million guitar players I love. But yeah, I think ripping solos is really fun. It's kind of like my version of skateboarding or something.
Oh. But not only in the music world, Dave, you write books as well. You've got 4 of your own books.
Yeah.
With the brown one being The Awesome Game, One Man's Incredible Globe-Crushing Hockey Odyssey. Is that generally all about hockey?
No, it kind of like uses hockey as a jumping off point to just talk about a lot of different things. Because it's kind of memoir, travelogue, and there's a lot of hockey in it. But I tried to write it both for hockey fans and also for people that don't care about sports at all. It's kind of I was trying to thread the needle to so, and I'm told I succeeded, but I think a lot of people are reluctant to read it, maybe for fear of, but it's not that much. There's hockey in it. It's kind of like, if you liked green peppers, this is a bad analogy, but I was going to say, if you had chips and salsa, there's other stuff, but there probably will be some peppers in there.
Okay.
It's not a good analogy. Again, very jet lagged. They can't all be. Can't all be gems.
Yeah, can't be home runs, not every time.
No, not every time.
But you've also do the books, if they're like a sort of travel log type thing, do the books like follow on from each other, or can you read them at any? Because you've also got Parking the Moose, which I thought was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tasteful Nudes, even better. And then Dave Hill doesn't live here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I would say read them in order, or you'll be completely lost. No, just kidding. No, you can read them out of order. I think it's fine. I recommend reading them in order,
because then you have to.
But you can read them in whatever order. They're all kind of timeless literary classics. So whenever you get around to it, it's fine. Like you can read Hamlet before Macbeth or do it the other way around. Doesn't really matter.
I wasn't sure if it went like decades or years or whatever. So that's why I thought I just asked the question. But I'm an avid reader, you see, Dave. So I
Sure.
kind of wanted to like check them out, but then I don't want to be reading, the fucking awesome game and then be like, oh, but it's referring to Parking the Moose here. What's going on? I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm lost.
Yeah, no, it's not like the Matrix or anything. I think you can just kind of read. I shouldn't even be saying this, but you could even jump around chapters in most of them if you wanted to.
Oh, let's go rogue.
Yeah, you could just. I mean, more so in the first two books, but even the later ones, you could probably do it.
Where'd you get the inspiration for your books, like the ideas to what to write?
I think, I don't know. I kind of always wanted to write a book for a long time, and so the first book, I wanted to write a collection of essays and did that a couple times, and then my grandfather was from Canada, and he always kind of told us that Canada was the greatest country in the world, so that book was kind of exploring whether that was true or not, or just kind of see what's going on up there. And then hockey, just always been a big fan of hockey. Really the only sport I like and or have any passion for. So it's just kind of exploring a subject that I'm really into. So hopefully I'll do another book soon. We'll see, I think it would be cool to write 5. Somehow I got it in my head that 5 was like a respectable amount, once I'm dead. They'd be like, oh, Uncle Dave, he wrote 5 books. He was a weird, strange man, and it was really difficult cleaning up all his stuff after he died, but he did write 5 books. That's kind of, the way I imagine it.
You could put them there with Charles Dickens, or Shakespeare.
Yeah, 5. Yeah. It's like anyone can write 4 books. 5 though. That's real deal territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, Dave, like we've mentioned, like you got your stand-up career, you did podcasting, your writing and things like that. How do you balance it all? Because you do so many things. How do you organize like master multitasking? Because it's just bonkers.
I don't know. I'm trying to do less things, honestly, because I think my problem is that I just kind of something seems appealing. Like if you guys were like, we should form a band where we all play the kazoo, I'd be like, that does actually sound pretty good. Let's do it. I'm easily led. And, so that's kind of part of the reason why I do a lot of different things is just my interests. I'm just drawn to different things. But I think in general, in terms of organizing, I kind of, if someone's paying me to do something, then I'm like, okay, I'll do that first because I need money to live. And then other stuff is some, just scheduling. If someone's like, oh, I need this tomorrow, I'll be like, okay. And then there's some things that are just kind of whenever I have time, like painting and stuff. But I do envision a time, my hope is that one day all I'll do is draw and paint and rip solos and just not really do much else.
All at the same time?
No, you got to keep it separate. You got
okay.
Can't get paint on the guitars.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I mean,
Yeah.
could you paint whilst ripping with the vibration of the strings, fling the paint towards the, to be able to create a masterpiece that way? Or
I guess you could, but I'm kind of like, I never like that when like someone's be like, this is a painting created by hooking up Lars Ulrich's drums to and then they put it in a gallery and people, be like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's really something. You see that sort of stuff, like this is a time-lapse thing of the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever, puts the lights, and I'm generally against it. But yes, to answer your question, yes, you could.
because they've got like chairs now. There's like just one where there's a chair, there's a pencil on its tip, and people are like, God, £1,000,000 for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or there's like, here we gave paint to a gorilla. He's really has an eye, I'm suspicious of it. And I say that as a man who has a gorilla painting by a gorilla in the next room. I guess that's why I'm suspicious of it. It's really not that good. But I am very a proponent of gorilla activities, extracurriculars. I do think you can't just throw a bunch of bananas at them and call it a day. You have to have arts and crafts.
I don't know. Literally before we came on here, I've been sat there watching Planet of the Apes. So this two together is making me concerned. We probably should limit what they do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is concerning because one thing leads to another.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then next thing they're controlling us.
What is your favorite medium though that you do? Because or do they all hold their own special significance to you?
They kind of hold their own special significance, I guess. There's things I like about all of them. There's things that I like about what I do with all of them, and then there's, at the same time, I think I'm horrible at all of them. So, I have conflicted feelings about all of it. Because part of them, like, I love, depending on, what my mood is or whatever, I might be like, I'm really good at that. Or I might be like, I'm really horrible. I think also, like, I just want to get better at everything that I'm doing and, be the best Dave I can be. So I'm very, very harsh critic. Even though, the reviews are amazing at everything, but, hard to take it to heart.
Well, I mean, you went on fucking tour with Tenacious D a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was amazingly fun. Those guys are the greatest. Such a great band, hilarious band, amazing musicians and performers, and the nicest guys in the world. And the band, Jack, Kyle, the band crew, it's amazing. It's truly like some of the funnest. I was saying this, not to name drop, but just last week I was saying to Jack Black, who, yes, you're wondering, do we text on occasion? Yes, we do. Stop it. Don't ask. But I was saying to him, when I'm on my deathbed and the film strip of my life plays, when I touring with them is among, the funnest, best times of my life, honestly. Even just based on catering alone, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Even the catering, stellar. Amazing. I was really fortunate. I was at the Birmingham show of the UK tour. And like you say, it was such a fun night. It was absolutely amazing. So it's great to see that you enjoyed it so much yourself as well.
Oh, yeah. It was the whole thing. I mean, just the community around them, the fans, the shows are like, I watch the show every night and it's so great. I don't like go sit in my dressing room after my set. I'm out there watching the show because it's great. And the vibe is so great to have like, every night it was like 12 or 14,000 people and just like such fun, good vibes. Like the building is shaking from everyone singing along. I'm guessing, Taylor Swift concerts are maybe like that or in some regard, but, or I don't know why I singled her out, but just, I've never seen any other show, honestly, that just the good vibes flowing so hard, gushing like a fire hose of good vibes and an amazing show. They have Satan jizzing all over the place. It has it all. There's fire. It's the best. It's great, best band in the world, truly.
You touring with Tenacious D makes sense. You've got that rock connection, music, comedy. But I was looking at your career, and did I see you open for Snoop Dogg once?
I did, yeah. I opened for him. I actually was just looking at a picture of it today because someone asked to see it. And yeah, I think it was like 2015. Earlier that year, I had opened up for Ryan Adams at Moody Theater, Austin City Limits in Austin, Texas. And my friend Jack had, said like, "Oh, Ryan wants a comedian," and so he's like, "Do you want to do it?" So I came down from New York and I did it, and it was a blast, and ended up doing some more shows with Ryan that later that year, and some time passed, and then they're like, "Snoop Dogg's coming. Do you want to open up for him?" And I was like, 1000%, of course. And the next day I texted him. I was like, is this real? Like, is this where? And he's like, "Yeah, it's done." And I said that my only request, aside from, huge stack of cash, is I'm like, you have to put my name in every form of advertising for this show, because it's going to be a complete disaster. But I just want the story. That's all. The only reason I'm doing it, which is, and it was in many ways amazing, but also in many other ways an absolute disaster. Depending on who you ask, I would say about, of the 2,000 people in attendance, I would say 500 people were like totally on board and very pro Dave. But the remainder of the people in attendance were kind of like, "Why is that guy testing the microphone for so long? Why is he out there?" And I did 2 sets. I did a set, and then a local Austin soul band played, and then I did another set. I did 2 20-minute sets. And honestly, I never got confirmation, but I think part of the thing was like Snoop Dogg was performing, I think, for like an hour, like not a second over. So I'm making up that time, but it was something like that. And I think that they were just trying to like stretch the night out and like keep the bar open and like kind of make people think that they got a night of entertainment. This is just my theory. I've never confirmed this with anybody, but it's just my working theory on the night as to why I was asked to do it. But it was I would do it every night. I would open for Snoop Dogg at any time if he's listening. I had an amazing time, and I did meet him finally at the end, and he was a delight, as you would imagine.
Absolutely. So, open for Snoop Dogg or Nairobi? Which one?
Well, I'll say I was thinking about that because my girlfriend came to the Snoop Dogg show in Austin because she was like, "I have to see that. That's gonna be a real shit show."
So supportive.
So she came to that. She comes to the shows that are going to be great, or the ones that we both have a feeling might be an absolute disaster. Those are kind of the ones she tends to come to. But yeah, it was. I don't know. I would say Nairobi, is much smaller. That was like, less than 100 people. But I would say, without question, I bombed a lot harder in Nairobi than I did. Arguably, the Snoop Dogg show was an absolute triumph. But Nairobi was like, Nairobi, I think most of the people that saw me were just like, "Why is this guy so confident? He's clearly never done this before." That seemed to be the looks I was getting from people, were just like, clearly he's never been on stage. But he seems very confident for some reason.
Oh, fucking brilliant.
It's just such a random place to go as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I
bet it's beautiful
genuinely,
out
I can't wait to go back. But yeah, it was definitely a character building experience. But yeah, I had an amazing time.
Good.
Oh. So
Yeah.
I just want to take a moment because you've done so much stuff in your career, as we've said, just to reflect a bit. Like when you look back now, and then like standout highlight moments for you that you just like, that was a good day at the office.
Are there? Yeah, many. One thing that I performed in prisons a few times, and those experiences were all definitely amazing. Some of the greatest experiences I've ever had. So those come like I performed in the first time I performed in Sing Sing, which is a very popular, infamous, maybe be a better word, prison here in America. That was like a pretty profound, amazing experience. I would say the Tenacious D tours for sure. I don't know, all sorts of things. From little things. I think as long as I'm having a really good time, then those are the ones. Or something that maybe I was like really scared to do and ended up I did it and it went well or whatever. I'm always psyched about those things. Performing in prison or Tenacious D would be both because it's so fun, but also like definitely the biggest crowds I've ever performed comedy to. Yeah, those things.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it definitely did. But also on top of that, because we didn't get much time to deep dive to your music, because as I said, we'd be here for fucking ages if we went through everything. If from all the music you've done, if you could suggest a couple of songs for people to check out to really get a feel for what you do, what might a couple of those be?
I would listen to Go by Valley Lodge, or really, I mean, the first Valley Lodge record. I would say listen to any, but maybe the second one is kind of a not characteristic album. But they're all, good. It's good music to drive around and or do whatever you're gonna do. Or you could listen to Painted Doll that I made 2 albums with. I think listen to the first track on either one of those records. I think, or gotta go Witch Taint. First one on that. Can't Lose.
I absolutely loved Trouble off the new record. Absolutely love that track, and All of My Lovin' from the first album as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, All of My Lovin', that was in a hot dog commercial, not to brag.
Oh, Dave, big time.
Yeah, it was in a Sonic fast food commercial. That's another thing you need to know about me. Absolutely shameless. Sell out like that. No standards whatsoever. Actually, that's not true. I actually got an email. This is a true thing. I got an email asking if it's, I don't know if it was like some sort of stunt or test, but it seemed real. Where I was asked to play a guitar solo in a commercial for the Trump re-election campaign. And it was from some agency was doing this thing, and they're asking me if I'd rip a solo. And I wrote this, email that was like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
But then I deleted it, and I just said, I said, "Thank you. Your email gave me a really big laugh. Fuck Trump, Dave." And then the guy, this producer in Los Angeles, he's like, "Oh, your response is actually much nicer than I expected. I'm just, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just doing this. I'm not a Trump voter. I'm just doing this for the money. It's a big payday." And they were trying to tell me like, "Oh, well, you'll make a lot of money doing this." Which is hilarious given Trump's reputation for never paying his bills.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
But but I was, when the guy wrote back, "Oh, your response was much nicer," I did say, you should have seen my first response to you.
Yeah.
It's pretty harsh. And then, yeah, so I just told him, I was like, there's no amount of money that would ever get me to do that. I do have standards,
Good.
So I was going to mention this when we did plugs in a minute, but did I see you got kicked off Twitter because of responding to people about Trump?
Yeah, Trump supporters would, say things to me, negative things, and I would respond to them with like suggesting that I had fuck their moms, basically, but not using those terms, more subtle, nuanced responses than that. But that was the gist of it, and I eventually got banned from Twitter for life. And then my account got reinstated when Elon Musk took over sometime after that. But I mean, now, and so I have the account, but I don't really use it. I'll sometimes have a look if I'm, every couple of weeks, maybe I'll go look, but I don't actively use that. I'm really just keeping the account so no one else can go in and create an account with my handle, just sort of parking it, as it were. But yeah, it's sort of like, when I was banned, I was really like, oh my gosh, I need this for my career. This is devastating news, and then it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me was getting banned from Twitter. Because I like instantly my days started better because I wasn't waking up looking at Twitter. I had 2 extra hours in the day because I wasn't on Twitter. So, and now, I mean, Twitter is just an absolute, hellscape. So it's kind of a pointless thing. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I was banned from Twitter for the noblest of reasons.
Otherwise, I have so much more time to rip solos now. I'm not telling Trump supporters that I fuck their moms. It's great.
Exactly.
We're all rallying behind you, Dave. We're all rallying behind you. Fuck Trump.
I'm just doing my part, And
we appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much for your service.
I'm not a fan of him or anything having to do with that bullshit. I hate it.
Mr. Stevens, do you have any more questions for our wonderful guest?
I do. When you first started this journey of comedy and acting and music and podcasting and writing and all the good stuff, like, did you ever think this is where you would be today?
On your show?
No, as in like in life, just in life as in generally. But yes, on the show.
I guess like I guess I knew that I would probably, in some form or another. I think I knew that was just kind of what I wanted to do. There was never like a plan B, to like, oh, I could go, do something that I didn't want to do, but maybe it would be okay and I could deal with it. No, I have always been pretty stubborn and completely rejected polite society at a very early age. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm maybe not, I kind of always want more success and money, but things, but only, I don't want for anything, it's really, I would just like to maybe have a house that my girlfriend and I could sit around and eat cheese in and things like that.
The dream.
Enjoy some cheeses. But we have a, lovely apartment here, but, just would be nice to, and then I just like doing things creatively and stuff. So, but yeah, I kind of always figured I would do some version of what I'm doing. Maybe not as many different things, but, there wasn't like, I never thought like, oh, I could be the manager of a furniture store or something and then maybe rip solos at night.
Yeah.
I never really thought like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think that's great. I'm very furniture store, mattress store. I think those are all noble pursuits, but just nothing. I just never been. I'm horrible at doing things that I don't want to do.
I'll be honest, I admire it because there's a lot of people out there who go, I'd love to take a gamble and do this, and then they go, yeah, but I probably shouldn't. So the fact you just went, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I admire it a lot. Fair play.
You only get one lap around this big racetrack called life, I figure. So, but no, there are other things that I'd be completely happy doing. I used to work at a homeless shelter. Totally love that job. It was great. I wouldn't do it today only because now I'm so used to hanging out with my dog that basically when I'm in town, I'm hanging out with my dog. I'm home. So now basically anything where I have to leave the house, I'm kind of against it.
Yeah.
Because it cuts into my dog time. But yeah, sometimes I think I would like to be an acupuncturist. Now I'm just telling you my alternate universe careers. But that's really just those two things. I can't really think of anything else.
I love it. I love it. Dave, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. This has meant the absolute world.
Thank you.
Before we
Thanks
let you
for
get out of
having
here, though, plug social medias, websites, whatever it may be. Where should we direct
Sure.
people?
My website, davehillonline.com. All my social media pretty much is at Mr. Dave Hill, at Mr. Dave Hill. And yeah, that's about it. And from those things, you can find out everything else. When I'm coming to your town, what books I'm doing, things like that. Jams, music, whatever.
Incredible.
But yeah, I'm always hawking all my wares. Oh, go to mrdavehill.bigcartel.com. That's where a lot of my hot merch is. Load up on merch when in doubt. Or don't. See what I care. I'm an artist. I don't care.
Doesn't need your support. It's fine.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't care.
Oh, Dave, thank you so much, my friend. This has been so much fun. Like I said, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Especially
Thanks for
considering your
having me.
jet lag to fuck. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you for putting up with my exhaustion. And again, if you speed up my talking, that's fine. If you add sort of action music or patow sound effects that make it seem cooler, it's totally welcome.
So I might just have fun. It sounds fun. Why not?
Sure.
Yeah. Every time we do that, I'm just going to add a power. Why not?
Yeah. I'm into it.
No. Dave,
But
thank
no,
you so much.
seriously, my friend. Yeah, have a great day, my friend. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a
Yeah,
great
buddy.
day.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.